Max Chebui. We're here in Adelaide, South Australia, and I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. John, who's the Kasa president. Welcome, John. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us what Kasa is all about?
Hello, everyone. Like Mark said, my name is John Kamau, and I am the Kasa president. Now, Kasa stands for the Kenyan Association of South Australia. I know many people confuse it, maybe because of the work we do. Some of them may think it's the Kenyan Association of Students in South Australia. Now, it's the Kenyan Association of the Kenyan Association of South Australia. Now, the Kasa is a non-for-profit organization. What that means is we are a charity, in other words. And we first became an incorporated association. So we are body corporate, and then we registered for charity. So we are now a charity, and that comes with its own benefits. Thank you.
So Kasa, when was Kasa started? Yeah.
Now, Kasa was started in the year 2004 by a few Kenyans. Back then, we didn't have a lot of people like we do today. There were a few people that just knew each other. Everyone knew everyone. And they came together and formed the Kasa community back in 2004. And since then, the tradition has been passed on from one leadership to the next. And now here we are today. I am the president.
Just before we delve deep into what Kasa does, what are the mission and vision and goals of Kasa's incorporated association?
In a nutshell, Kasa envisions a situation where we foster the sense of community and culture exchange within South Australia for the Kenyans who live in South Australia. This one means if you come in here in Adelaide, for example, you are Kalenjin, you are Luo, you are Kamba, or whichever other tribe that comes from Kenya, Kasa will give you that opportunity or that to foster that sense of socialization, community, and you will feel like you belong to a community. The sense of belonging, a people you belong to. Because remember, many people who come to Australia, sometimes they are looking for that black person that they know. I don't know what your experience was, but when I walked down the streets of Adelaide when I was new, I was so delighted whenever I met a black person. It didn't matter where they came from. Now, what Kasa has done is now bring all the Kenyans together and foster that sense of community. And then that's our vision, to foster sense of community so that we can ensure that every Kenyan feels accommodated and feels part of a community. And this is a vibrant community. For those people who know about Kasa, we are a vibrant community.
Yes. Yep. So, yeah, there's unity in community, and yeah, that's true. So my next question would be, when did you come into office as the president?
Well, I'll put it in two aspects. I was the public relations officer at some point during the last leadership that their leadership ended in 4th of November, 2023. So that is when I became president, 4th of November, 2023. And since then, it has been like we are in our 5th month now in leadership. So I'm just pretty new in the president's position, but not in Kasa.
So how long does the leadership last? Is it a year, 2, 3?
Now, as per the current constitution, leadership changes every 2 years. So it's a term of 2 years. Yes.
So do you have a committee that helps you run the day-to-day operations?
You know, most people always see the president, but the constitution envisaged such, and they put the president as the spokesperson of the association. However, there's a team behind the president. Currently, we have the constitution allows for other team members, which is we have a vice president, we do have a secretary, we do have a treasurer, we do have other representative, like we do have men's representative, we have a women representative, we have a families representative, we have students representative, And we also have, for those people who have kids, we have Swahili school. So now Swahili school is registered separately, but their leader in Swahili school becomes automatically a member of Kasa. So Swahili rep is also part of the leadership. So that is the number allowed by the Constitution. However, the Constitution also allows that once you get elected, because these are elected positions, once you get elected as a committee, then you can co-opt 3 other people. And currently we have co-opted 2. We had co-opted 3, but one of them has been unable to continue. So we have 2 who are in the well-being unit.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. So Kasa as a community organization, what are some of the notable achievements Kasa has done over the years? And I know you were not the president back then, but would you point out some of the achievements and some of the achievements you would also like to achieve under your leadership?
Thank you very much for that question. Kasa is made up of volunteers, and most of the time, I would call them unsung heroes because they do a lot for the community, but sometimes it may not be noticed. Now, since the inception of Kasa in the year 2004, we have had leadership after leadership providing an opportunity for Kenyans to have that sense of community. And many people know Kasa for Gala. I think you know Kasa for the same reasons. Many people know Kasa, Gala. Our community has been the best community in South Australia that organizes the best gala. That's one great achievement.
That's one thing I never knew.
It's one great if you ask even the Minister for Multicultural, the best places they go for the best experience of a gala, Kenyan community. Now, we have other things that we have done. For example, I'll talk about during my tenure.
Yep.
Just recently, just past weekend, we had the Daring Abroad Investment Forums, which we brought Alex Chamwada to Adelaide. And because of Kasa, we were able to bring a lot of investors to Adelaide, and many people got that opportunity to connect with sponsors and invest back in Kenya. Now, Kasa is the connection, that point of connection between the community and I would say the entire world. So if you're in South Australia and you need that connection, Kasa is the place to be. We have also done a lot of work in the space of the international students. In fact, many people like you ask what Kasa is. Some of them think the association is the Kenyan Association of Students in South Australia because of the work that we do around the students. Kasa has been at the forefront of ensuring that our international students have a seamless experience once they land in Adelaide. They call Adelaide the city of churches, the festival state. And Kasa lives up to that expectation. It's a city of churches. Churches are associated with benevolent activities. And Kasa has been one of the best communities that is involved in benevolent activities that targets people who are facing challenges. These people could be people who are here as international students. We have people who are in the families. That's why we have a families rep. We do have people who are facing challenges in their marriages. Some are victims of domestic violence. They usually come to Kasa, and our families rep or our women rep, they will assist these kind of people and connect them or link them with the right people, right departments. I wouldn't say that we have we do have the experience to be able to help all these people with their needs. However, what we do, we do connect them with the right people. If it's something that we cannot solve within our committee, within our community, we connect them with the right people, with the right departments. If, for example, someone is facing mental health challenges, we'll be able to connect them with the right people. We even have people within our community who are working in these mental health departments, and the Kasa president may have that contact of such a person. For example, I'll give you an example. Somebody rang me once, they were looking for accommodation, and I know someone who works with this organization that help with accommodation. Well, it was just a phone call away. I made a phone call and accommodation was arranged. So these are the benefits of having Kasa. within the community, because we do help. We do have a lot of things that we can do. You did ask me about some of the things that and goals that we can do or we anticipate to do as Kasa.
Yep.
Wow, that's a huge thing you're asking me. Look, I only get 2 years to be president, but I want to leave a legacy if I can. If the community can rally behind us, I would like to leave a good legacy. One of the things that I envision as the president of Kasa is Kasa being the trailblazer, being the best association, not just for African communities, but for every community in South Australia. Right now, some people that challenge me, some communities that challenge me. It's like the China community.
Yep.
I don't know. I think you've heard. They have Chinatown.
Yep, we definitely have Chinatown in
what stops
Adelaide.
us from having Kenyan town or Kasa,
And Nairobi in Adelaide.
and Nairobi within Adelaide.
Yeah.
So there's so much we can do if the community can rally behind us. We could. I envision a situation where Kasa has assets like land, and when you get land, you can do buildings. Right now, when we want to do events like the one we had daring abroad, we had to hire a hall somewhere. We had to hire a hotel somewhere. But remember, in our community, we have a lot of professionals. We have cooks, we have engineers. In fact, we can, if we get land, we may get that land, a community hall built by our own people. And then we could have like a kitchen there for people who do kitchen services, catering services. We could have other services there. And then we can have a hall where we can be doing our gala, our events. And when we are not using it, we'll be leasing it out to the community and generate funds. So these are some of the things that I envision that we can do as a community. And I call upon members of the community to rally behind Kasa. And togetherness. Remember when people are doing the Tower of Babel, even God was scared.
Thanks for that. Just before
People
you
need to
continue,
rally behind each other.
yeah. Just before you go ahead with that, I wanted to ask you. Thanks for painting out the goals and the visions and the mission of the association.
Yeah.
At least now, I know most Kenyans who are wondering what is Kasa all about. Like, they at least can, from the explanation that you've given us, they can at least see what Kasa is all about and what Kasa intends to do. So, how does one join Kasa? Is there a fee that someone has to pay to join, or is it just free? And yes, tell us more about that.
Well, we would love to have a free membership. And Kasa is a charity, but we have put a very small fee to our membership because without some money running in the account, we may not be able to do what we need to do. For example, when we need to do the gala, when we book the venue, we are required to pay a deposit. And without some money in the account, we cannot be able to do some of these things. So we have put up a membership scheme. It is available on our website. If you go to kasa.org.au, you will find there, just click on the menu and you find become a member. You can choose. For example, if you are a student, you do have the option of concession. So concession means some money is taken off the membership, so you pay only $20 if you're a student.
As a student, right?
Yes. If you are an individual who is not married, a single individual, then you pay $30. If you are a family, a couple, you pay $40. So this money is not actually it's support. It's for supporting the association to be able to continue to run its activities. Because this money will help us to do those small little things like hire a venue or secure a deposit. Yeah.
So that's the fee for joining the association. Does the association have an account where people can donate money, or just for charity, for activities that involve the day-to-day running of the association?
Yes, Kasa has an account at the National Australian Bank of Australia, and I think it will be put right here for people to see. This account number you can donate at any time. However, we also have on the website a donate button. So you can donate on our website. So you just go to our website. However, the donate part on our website, you need to have a PayPal account. So if you don't have a PayPal account and you don't want to create one, you might as well just deposit direct using the bank account number and BSB.
All right.
Yes,
And they can just write their donation or
Yes,
is it transfer or whatever it is.
Because Kasa is a charity, we accept donations.
Yep.
So we can fundraise. That's the benefits of being a charity. And when you ask about the achievement, this was one of the achievements that happened in the last administration. This was one of the greatest achievements that we did, because when you are a charity, you get access to some things. For example, grants. There's some grants that are not open to everyone. They're only open to non-for-profit. So Kasa is a non-for-profit, and because of that, we can fundraise, we can accept donations, and we can apply for grants that are not available to many other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I want to touch on something that's a little bit controversial, and it was a bit controversial in the sense that, and this is to do with international students arriving in Australia. I'm going to say Australia because I'm pretty sure students across Australia face similar challenges, not just in Adelaide, South Australia, but you can touch for the South Australian students. Some months or 2 months ago, there was an issue on social media doing rounds where students arrive here. Some don't know how, have no accommodation. Maybe they were duped by some agencies. Maybe a friend said they're gonna host them. Then once they get to the airport, their friend goes MIA, meaning they can't be reached. And we've had a couple of cases where students get stranded at the airport. Some, after the first semester, the parents raised the fee for the first semester, and after that, there's no tuition fees, student get sent back, and all these issues. Would you mind touch on that?
Thank you very much. When that happened, there was a lot of information that was given, and I had actually the one that was aired by Lynn Googie. I had to speak with Lynn about it because some of the information that was passed, I found it to be incorrect. Well, it's not Lynn's mistake. It's the guest who mentioned some things that we do have about 40 people in detention based on mental health. And after arriving here as students, we were able to check that out, and it was incorrect because, as you know, in Australia, it's very rare for you to be put in detention. And even if you get into trouble with the authorities, most of the time you'll get bail. So that information was incorrect. However, the other part of the question that you did ask, let me say this. These issues are not unique to Australia, not just Australia. In fact, there was this case of this lady who passed away in Canada. My condolences. I don't know whether you saw that story, but that lady went to Canada on a visitor visa, and the arrangement was to, once you're at the airport, they seek asylum. But not every time they will get the accommodation they are looking for. So the issues of accommodation for people who go to overseas or go to different countries, it is rampant, not just in Adelaide, not just in Australia, all over the world. We have students who go to the US. They face the similar challenges. People who promise them that they will pick them up at the airport, they don't show up. UK, I have been to Korea as well. People do the same thing. So it's not something unique. Is something that happens around the world. What I would say, parents need to do due diligence when they are sending their kids to Australia, especially the very young one. I find Kenyan students to be a bit resilient because kids raised in Australia, if they are put to the same test or the same challenges, I don't think, like my son at the age of 18, they will be able to manage to live by themselves the same way people are sent here to come and live by themselves. It's quite hard. What people need to do is do a feasibility study before they send their students here, because what you're saying happens. It's not that it doesn't happen. It happens. Many students come. They are only given one-way ticket. They're not given enough money for their accommodation because they think somebody else is going to host them. And there's that notion that once you enter a plane, then there'll be money where you're going. Yeah, you made it.
You already made it.
You already made it. But that is what the people who are sending their kids in Australia should know. Once you come here, there are some things that happen. You are not going to get a job straight away. You may need to do a course. For example, if you want to work in the aged care sector, you can't just dive into the aged care sector and get a job. You would need perhaps to do certificate 3 in individual support.
Yeah, I was about to come to that, John.
Yeah, sure.
So thank you for addressing the first part. And as you've all had, the challenges that international students face is not just unique to Australia or South Australians, to be specific. Now, yes, students come here with the hope that they'll get jobs as soon as they land.
Yes.
And shock. I was on my end. I expected the same thing. I was told, once you get to Adelaide, there's jobs, restaurant jobs, but shock on me. But we maneuvered, and we we did what we had to do to survive. So as Kasa, and you've talked about having different departments that help different individuals with different challenges. How does Kasa address such issues of job opportunities especially for those who are still new to South Australia?
I would say this need to be made not a Kasa problem, but the agents who bring students, they need to prepare the parents, they need to prepare the students. Whatever they are signing up for, all that it entails. I'll give my own story. I came here 10 years ago, and I was a manager in Africa. And I have come here on a student visa. And when I landed here, I thought that I would become another manager here. And we do get people coming to Adelaide or coming to Australia thinking, well, I was this and this back home. Yes, I'm going to apply for those jobs. My friend, I did apply for jobs. I applied for managerial jobs, and I didn't even get any regrets. So nobody even dared to look at it. So people need to be aware that when you come to Australia, it's a whole new land, a whole new challenge. Nobody will notice you whether you are a manager or not. In Kenya, when I entered an office, everyone paid some form of respect because a manager has come in. And that is the kind of tradition we have in Kenya. So you are coming in here as a manager thinking that when you tell a Muzungu, I was a manager back in Kenya, that you are spreading fear. Nothing like that. They don't even care. And that actually did work on me. It did work because I came with some money and I thought I have enough money. I'm going to use this money, and by the time this money is getting depleted, I'll have found my managerial job. So I never did any course. I remember some friends used to come to my house and tell me, John, just do certificate 3. And I was a manager. How I can't do that.
Maybe just explain what certificate 3 is.
So I want to speak to someone who is watching me, and you are sending an international, or you yourself, you are an international student. When you come to Australia, there are some basic things that you need to do, because it might be very hard to get the same job you used to do or the job of your dreams. So you need to prepare yourself to accept any challenge. So for you to get jobs, you would perhaps need to, the jobs that people get are perhaps in the community services. And the community services, we have disability and aged care. And for you to be able to make the cut to get a job in the disability and aged care, you need to do a certificate. Without that one, you will find it very hard to get a job. So you need to do certificate 3 in individual support. That will cover both disability and aged care. And once you have that certificate with you, you will be able to apply for jobs. Otherwise, you'll be sending your CV and nobody looks at it. Some other things, as you wait for your, as you study your certificate 3, immediately you learn. There's some things that if you have an address, go straight to Service SA. We have what we call Service SA in South Australia. There's what we call proof of age. Get that card. The proof of age, it is an equivalent of a driver's license in South Australia. It's not a driver's license, but it has the same
like an
ID. Get the proof of age. Because once you get the proof of age, you can open a bank account. Because you will need a proof of age, and you will need to produce a letter from maybe school and a student ID, and you can open a bank account. Once you open a bank account, then you can start earning. And then another thing, some other things that accompany these courses that you need to do. You need to do first aid. Those one, you don't have to wait to complete your certificate 3.
Sure.
Register for first aid, register for manual handling. Once you do those certificates, those are done on maybe one day training of first aid, 1 day training of manual handling. Get those one in the bag. And then make sure you have registered for tax file number. So once you have those, you are ready and set. Now, once you complete your certificate 3, you have your tax file number, you have a bank account, you have a proof of age, you have you are all set. So once you apply for a job, immediately you apply for a job, you can start earning. And once you have the certificate 3, actually we have so many Kenyans who are running disability companies. And also they would not want to employ somebody who has not done certificate 3 because it's part of the responsibility. So do that certificate. Don't expect that because John has a company and he's your friend, he'll employ you. Not without that certificate. Yes.
You know, some people say, oh, I know someone who knows someone, but still they have to get the credentials.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you saying disability and aged care, those are not the only jobs. Those are like your stepping stones as you're still studying whatever you came to study for.
Yes.
And it's not like that's your career path. You can do fruit picking. You can do gardening.
I'm a living testimony. I did a lot of grape picking. At one point, I did tilling. I used a tractor. I went and did 50 hectares, which is bigger, acres. I did fencing. I did shearing. I did artificial insemination of sheep. I did a lot. A manager. I was a full manager in Africa. But after spending a lot of time searching for jobs and I could not get, I found myself in the farms.
John, I'm sure your story is not unique to you. You're a manager and you came here and, back home they look at these jobs as, menial jobs, like, we demean those kind of jobs.
Of course.
Did you at any point felt like you're developing something maybe like depression, or did it dent your ego or something?
Yeah, of course it did. I remember, when they sing that song, By the Rivers of Babylon. At some point I hung my harps and I remembered where I came from. I remembered I used to have a drive, I used to have a swimming pool, a gym, DSTV for you, those of you know DS. I started remember I had someone looking after the laundry, someone doing the... When you remember all that, of course, it will work you out, So I had those moments. And sometimes I would drive back home and I would say, and then reality would hit me. Yes, here I am. I can't go back. A lot of shame. Would you? You went abroad and then come back with nothing. Some point you reach that point where you feel, what are my options now? Do I go back or do I stay? I decided to stay, and I decided to go with the flow.
Yes, I did ask you that question so that as the president of Kasa, and so that the students who have come here and the people have already been here for a while and are still experiencing those challenges. I had a good job back home. I'm doing something that I would consider not according to what call it league or my career path. So just as a motivation, what would you tell them? What would you tell them? How should they maneuver all these things? And if they have, all these depression as a result of challenges here and there. Does Kasa have a department that deals with that, or do you have like when I ask department, do you have like a particular institution that would refer people who are undergoing depression or challenges, career-wise and job-wise, to help our members?
Thank you for that question. And I really don't want to show like Kasa is the is the answer to everything. No, it's not. Basically, Kasa will connect you with services. Well, for some people, they go through a lot of hassle by themselves, challenges by themselves, but they always say that a problem shared is a problem half solved. So I would say share your issues. If you feel comfortable sharing with a woman, we have a women rep. If you feel safer sharing with a man, we have a men rep. You can contact these people, and if you don't have them, contact me and I'll connect you with the right people. Now, the issues of Kenyans, I would say we have so many like me, like you said, I'm not unique. We have other people who have come like me, and even students who come with that mentality. I come from Kenya, men don't go to the kitchen. Well, here for one, there's no maid, there's no houseboy, so you're doing everything. Like I said, I used to have someone doing my laundry. I used to have someone doing a driver. And when I came to Australia, it was the first time I had to change a nappy. I had to change my mindset. It's the first time I had to go to the kitchen and cook for the family. Because we did have a house girl who used to do all that. It is the first time I did a lot of things. So when you come to Australia, it will be a first time for so many things. And because of that, you have to ensure you go with the flow. Remove the Kenyanism. They say you can bring a villager to the town, but you cannot get the village out of him. Well, that was me. It was very hard to get the Kenyanism out of me. But let me say, if you are coming to Australia, try and get rid of the Kenyan, the converting of the dollar to the shilling. Stop it. When you come here, go with the flow. If you're a man and you never go to the kitchen, remember here you have to go to the kitchen. There's no maid, there's no driver, there's no one to do you alone. So I had to do my alone every fortnight because we had a garden. I had to tend the garden by myself. I had to take my son to school every day. You know, things that I never did. They used to be picked by a bus, you know, and I know so many people do the same in Kenya. Kids are picked, you know. And here you come, you have to do everything. You have to ensure that they are fed, they are dressed, they are taken to school, their needs are catered for if you have kids. If you are a student, especially with kids, it's even tougher. So if you come here as a family and you have kids and you are students, it's even tougher. But if you are single, I would advise the students, live within your means. Live within your means. Look for shared accommodation, which we do have a lot of shared accommodation, or else those people who can afford to live in hostels, because there's some people who like that sense of being together with fellow Kenyans, so you'd rather live in a shared accommodation. But if you are that kind of a person who don't mind living by yourself, there are hostels. Like the Torrance International Residence is very cheap. You can get a room for $150 a fortnight, which is a week, which is very cheap compared to the standards of housing in Australia. So this kind of hostels, you just need to apply and you get them. I know some people who have lived there for their entire student visa. And what that does is it reduces your cost. So for example, if you are living for $150 a week and somebody else is paying $300, you're saving $150. So that $150 will go towards other things. You know, and then all your bills are inclusive. So you go to a place, you take up accommodation, and you are paying bills, you are paying rent, you are catering for your food. So at the end of the day, you don't have much you are saving. And that is what students struggle with. Now, Kasa will connect you with, if you are facing challenges, we may not have the solution, but we will connect you. For example, if there's an issue with mental health, for men we have Beyond Blue. We have, for women we also have organization, and we have people in our community who works for organizations that deals with, for those women who need emergency shelter, women that need emergency shelter. I know of two of our community members who work in a shelter, in those kind of shelters. Those kind of shelters are not for accommodation, so don't confuse. These are for people who short-term, temporary, and emergency. So those kind of, you may be kicked out as a student because you have not paid. That's an emergency.
Yep.
Like for that one, they can consider. If you are facing challenges, mental health, those are some of the things that can help you. Services that we have, people within our community, and like in our team right now, we have a doctor. So we have a very rich committee. We have a doctor. We have people who are nurses there. We have a rich committee made up of, and this kind of people have very good advice for our community. So if people can reach out when they're having challenges, even though we may not be able to provide the solutions, we may be able to connect them with people who can provide right solutions. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful, and that's an amazing job you guys are doing. You did mention about and this is now, I know it's mainly focused with families and people who have children.
Yeah.
You've mentioned about Swahili school. Unajua hata kidogo mimi kama Kiswahili nimeanza kusahau. Pala kidogo naongea Kiswahili lakini na twang kidogo. Tumezoea kuongea Kiingereza sana.
Yes.
Tuelezee zaidi kuhusu Swahili school na vipi wale wana watoto wazazi wanaweza saidika kivipi na Swahili school.
So the Kenyan Swahili School of Adelaide is a registered charity as well. And tuna walimu. Even me, I was a teacher at some point. Mefunza Kiswahili. Hata kama sio mufti. Lakini yenye imebaki inasaidia. So we have a community hall in Kilburn. That's where the people in the north take their kids. And then we have Sunshine in the south where people take their kids. Now,
na natumai itawekwa kwa
yeah. So our director atuwekee hapa watu wajue Kilburn Community Hall, Sunshine in the south, kwa wale ambao na tuko na walimu. We have Sami as our principal, our leader there for community Swahili school. And kids wanaenda wanafunzwa, kuna curriculum ambao tuko nayo pale, na the Swahili school wanatumia pia system ya serikali. So serikali inasaidia kuhakikisha the Swahili school is run as per a community school. It's a very elaborate school, na walimu wale wako pale, some of them are teaching in governments or in schools in South Australia. So they are teachers. So ni watu wako na experience, and they know how to deal with kids. Although I wasn't a teacher, I also know how to deal with kids.
Wewe ni mzazi.
Mimi ni mzazi, lakini nilifunza. Even now I can still teach, but time is of the so time ndio inani limit. But it's somewhere that people can take their kids, and I know my kids love to go to a school, not just for the Swahili experience, but also for the interaction as well. And there's another opportunity for kids to interact. Unajua hapa, one thing that we lack is that social aspect for the kids, because the busy life here. So you find yourself, you just go home with your kids, no one else they know. Take them to Swahili school, they'll connect with other kids. Yes, and this builds that and fosters that sense of community. Even when they grow up, they'll not forget about Kenya. But you raise them by yourself, some of them will have no notion or idea about Kenya. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Natumai wazazi mmesikia, Kasa has an extension of the Swahili school. Kabla nisahau, what did I want to ask again? Ulikuwa hapa awali, I'd asked you about what does Kasa, what are the initiatives and missions? You did say you've talked about organizing investment forums, and that's like recently you did the Chamwada investment daring abroad investment forum. I know every year we hold annual gala. Are there other fora or community based engagements you planning to do in your tenure as president?
Of course, one of the things that we do, like you correctly mentioned, is the gala. And I want to invite everyone. This year's gala is going to be massive. It's our first gala as a team, as a committee, not first gala for Kasa. But this gala is going to be massive. We're going to have performances from renowned artists from Kenya. We're going to have the High Commission represented. We're going to have the government of South Australia represented, the opposition, and we are going to have a lot of community businesses represented there as well. Now, that is an event that we have in June 8th, and we are holding it as a prestigious Intercontinental Hotel, and tickets will be sold out. The tickets are open already on our website, so someone can just go to our website and buy the ticket for the gala right now.
How much are the tickets for the
So
gala?
the tickets are $130, the ordinary ticket, but we do have VIP, and these are people who will get priority seating. That is, essentially, there's no VIP in our community, but we are trying to get means of raising funds. It's not the VIP tag is just for the extra funds that we are trying to raise, not so much as per the tag. Here there's nothing like VIP.
Yeah, no,
we are all equal.
We are Kenyan,
We are all equal. But for people who want to support the association, buy the VIP ticket.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
that is one event.
Yep.
So we also hold annual
just
Jamhuri.
before you go to the next event, just about the ticketing for the gala.
Yeah.
Is it a uniform charge, or is there like a concession for students who want to come for the gala? Or
Yeah, we do have concessions. So members always get $20 off, and students. So members and students is $110. My apologies. So members and students is $110, and then any other member is non-members $130. Yeah, so it's another opportunity for you to register as a member. So register as a member, you get that discount off, and for VIPs is $150. Yes.
So go on. So apart
Other
from the
events.
gala,
So normally we do have our AGM every October, and then we do have Jamhuri. We celebrate Jamhuri. Do you know what Jamhuri means?
Jamhuri.
Many people. Walipata nini?
Tulipata. Okay, najaribu kuisema kwa Kiswahili. Jamhuri kwa Kiswahili ni director. Jamhuri kwa Kiswahili ni nini?
Republic.
Yeah, that's when we became a republic.
We became a republic. Before the one we are celebrating in June.
I was trying to get the
independence
name republic in Swahili.
In Swahili.
Yeah.
In June we are celebrating Madaraka, which is independence. Yeah. Because in 1963 we got our independence, and this is what people don't differentiate. When we got our independence, we were still under the Queen, and being under the Queen meant we did not have a head of state. So we had a prime minister. That's why Kenyatta became a prime minister of Kenya. Then in 1964, we ditched the Queen.
Yeah, we now became
and we became a republic. And now the head of state became a Kenyan, and Kenyatta became the president. So that's what. So in June 8th, we are celebrating Madaraka independence at the Intercontinental Hotel. And then in October, we have our annual general meeting, and I'm inviting everyone to come to our annual general meeting. In October, we'll announce the dates. And then in December, we celebrate our Madaraka, our Madaraka Jamhuri Day. And this one, we normally will give the date closer to the time, because we have to look at the weather. There are various factors that we have to look, because we like doing it in the open in a park. Last one was very successful at the Thorndon Park. Did you attend?
Yes,
it was very successful. We had about 400 people attending, and it was a great socialization event. And I want to welcome people to turn up for our events. They are great because this is the only organization run by Kenyans in South Australia that brings every person on board. It is not affiliated to any tribe. It's for every Kenyan. Yes.
Yes. So we encourage every Kenyan to attend. As you've heard from the president, Kasa is Kenyans, 42 plus tribes. So I know we have different groups depending with the tribes. We have Key tribe for the Kalenjins. We have Kikuyu, Luo, and all that. But Kasa is all Kenyans. So, and as the president said, I want to reiterate again, we welcome all Kenyans to always join us for Kasa events. And let's foster one Kenyan community. Pamoja twaweza. I will let you do your closing remarks for today. And are there going to be other sessions, like informative sessions from Kasa? And just give us your closing remarks and tell us what we expect from Kasa going forward from here.
Thank you so much, Max. What I expect is people to take up membership, become Kasa members, because if you want Kasa to thrive, then you've got to become part of the support system. We need people to own Kasa, because Kasa is not for the executive, Kasa is not for the president, Kasa is for you. And we want Kasa to thrive. Once Kasa thrives, the community thrives, and you never know, maybe that's where your opportunity will come. For example, I'll give an example of an opportunity that has presented itself. Recently, I got contacted by the Home Affairs Department, and they were asking about the challenges that are facing Kenyans and how they can help. They didn't know I deal with a lot of students who deal with home affairs, and I was so lucky that they asked me that question, because one thing I did tell them is we want to take Kenya out of level 3 assessment of risk, because right now Kenya is in assessment level 3 for risk. What this means is when you apply for a visa, it's likely it will not be assessed favorably, especially for students. So what I'm drumming up for is for the community to rally together and address the home affairs and ensure that we agitate for the rights of Kenyans. How are we going to help if we don't get the support of the people? We need the people to support us. We need people to take up membership so that we can get motivated even to deal with such issues and present a winning argument to the Minister of Home Affairs. We want Kenya to be elevated. We want when you apply for your student visa, or for your relatives, when they apply for student visa, they are viewed or assessed favorably. These are some of the things that I expect Kenyans to do for Kasa. We are doing much for them. Now we also expect them to do for us. And I want to also urge them to take up or to buy tickets for the gala. They are open. And this is an opportunity of a lifetime to come and interact. If you've never attended gala, make this one a priority. And the Intercon on that day, they do provide accommodation at a discounted rates for Kasa members. So you don't have to worry if you don't have babysitter. You come with your babies, get a babysitter for a few hours. After the event, you can sleep at the hotel. So I urge every member to join hands with Kasa and ensure that Kasa takes the organization to greater heights. And something else I just want to add, you did ask about this session we are holding today. I want to say that there was a vision that was laid down last year of starting a Kasa radio. They say great heights reached by great men were not attained by sudden flight. But let's say this, it is baby steps. We may not jump from like today, just establish a radio. We need those baby steps, and one of the steps is this one that we are starting today. We can have occasional or weekly shows where we do it on YouTube, and who knows, we may get a sponsor to just sponsor us for a radio that can run throughout the day, every day of the week. So that's the starting point.
Osea from Kitwek, I hope you're listening. Continue, President.
Yeah. So this is just the baby steps, and we hope that Kasa can have a Kasa radio. Yeah, but that is a long-term goal. Short-term, we start with these weekly shows that we can do perhaps every week, and ensure that people get informed. We invite people who can advise Kenyans and provide information. We intend perhaps next one to be live. This one I know is recorded, but next one we can do live. We can have other people on the show, but for Kasa, we run it on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, and we ensure that we are doing something for the community, and people are finding information that they need. People can ask questions, can interact with us, can ask whatever they want, can query, can put us to task, and that one helps us with feedback. You know, it will help us to sharpen our skills and learn from what people want, understand the heart of the people and what people want.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a great initiative from the leadership of Kasa. And we continue to pray for the leadership. We believe, we trust, and we know you guys will do a great job under your leadership. And hopefully we'll see when the elections come. We might give you another chance.
You know, somebody told me the other day that when you do a good job as a Kasa leader, you may not put your hand up for the next one. Because it's a voluntary job.
Yeah.
So if you put all your mind to it, you'll be very exhausted at the end of it.
Now,
so
this might be different, President. This might be different.
So that's why we are calling on the community to support. We don't want the whole burden to be on the leadership. We want to share the responsibility, such that whatever that guy mentioned, because I'm already feeling it, you know, we don't want the whole burden on the leadership. We want everyone to own it and ensure that the organization goes to greater heights together, collectively. Yes.
Asante sana, John.
Thank you so much.
That was great.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much.
See you.
It's evening here, so good day.
Good night.
Good night. Asante sana.
Asante.